Rural Americans deserve access to the best of what our country has to offer, especially health care. Across every state, every community, America's rural hospitals are the first line of defense, protecting our families, neighbors, and loved ones. No matter where you live, hospital care doesn't clock out. They're there 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. Each year, America's over 5,000 hospitals care for millions of patients, providing 24/7 emergency care, delivering babies, cancer treatments, and other life-saving care that patients rely on. Behind every one of those patients are doctors, nurses, and caregivers working tirelessly to keep people healthy and safe. Hospitals are our community's lifelines. They employ our neighbors and keep our families healthy. But now, some in Congress are threatening access to care. Tell Congress, protect patient care to keep America strong. Don't cut rural health care.
The James Golden Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
To your question, Brianna, the last congressman we saw brought up the fact that Jack Smith demanded a trial date 4 months out, 5 months out, in a case involving 13 million pages of documents. There is no defense lawyer in the country who can constitutionally prepare for trial and defend his client on that short a time frame. And the implication was you were rushing to get this in before the 2024 election. Jack Smith did not defend himself, by the way. He didn't say a word about that, which I found strange. Yeah, it's true, right?
It's true.
Exactly.
I mean,
and he didn't defend himself
before the election.
Exactly. And Jack Smith has always maintained this veneer that he never thought about the election. Of course he did. Why would you demand such a quick trial date?
Yes, my friends, welcome. This is Bo Snerdley's Rush Hour. Thank you, Carlos. The fastest hour in American media, and it's, going to be fast. Right before the program began this afternoon, the Duke of Earl, Carlos, asked me, what are you going to talk about today? I don't know what I'm going to talk about. You should talk about the Oscars. I should talk about the Oscars. Carlos said to me, you should talk about the Oscars. So Carlos said, was a problem. I don't know anything about the Oscars. To which Carlos replied, well, what, Carlos?
I mean, everybody's talking about that Jack Smith hearing and the Minnesota debacle. Might as well, the nominations came out today, so we can talk about that.
But I don't know anything about it, Carlos. I first of all, I don't watch the Oscars. I could care less about the Oscars. It's a bunch of Hollywood types, usually slapping themselves on the back and making political speeches, like the Golden Other Thing Award and the this and that award from. I don't watch that stuff. But you said there was a movie that I need to. What is this movie?
Yes. Sinners, nominated for 16 awards.
Sinners,
which are quite the number.
Sinners. So they made a movie about sinners. Sinners. I mean, come on.
You need to watch it.
It's. I need to see it. Well, when it comes to whatever streaming service that all these movies end up on, I guess maybe if the whatever the description of it is looks interesting, maybe I'll watch it. But I don't know anything about the Oscars. Never did. The one thing that I'm totally ignorant on, you bring up. Well, not one thing. I mean, there are things that I know about, and I know the history of. I can tell you what happened in the 1800s, the 1700s, the 1600s, the 1500s on certain things. Certain things we can go back to ancient times, ancient civilization, and I have an opinion on it. But you ask me about the Hollywood Oscars, I know zilch.
I feel you know nothing about Championship Sunday either.
What? Sunday?
There's football games on Sunday.
I saw something today concerning football games that blew my mind. It blew my mind. Apparently, there was a game sometime this week between the Burrs and somebody else. Oh, yeah, the Rams and the Burrs. And the headline said, Rams, Bears players go wild for national anthem singer before a playoff game. And I watched the video of it. They hurled out one of the biggest American flags you've ever seen on to the field. And there's excuse me for just noticing this, but this is the way liberals think, so I have to include it in the analysis, folks. And there's a white dude singing the national anthem, which, all right, that should usually trigger liberals anyway. White male, national anthem, you know. But they kept the camera panning onto players, and a lot of the players happened to be not white. And some of the not white players were singing along with the guy. And the crowd was going nuts the whole time this guy was singing with the flag out there. One of the black players, that's the biggest American flag I've ever seen. And then this guy held the note when he got to, and the banner wave, and they waved the flag. And these guys, the players and the people, were going nuts. Nuts.
It was really good.
It was really, and then when he ended, the note that he hit on the land of home of the brave and the land of the free and the brave and the free, and the place erupted. And I'm looking at all these black players. Some of them almost looked like they were ready to cry. And they were standing. Some of them were cheering. And I said to myself, what the hell happened? What's wrong? When did the oppression end? And nobody told me. Black NFL players saluting the flag of the United States of America. They're not on their knees. They're standing up. They're cheering America. While ICE is in the streets, they're cheering America. While people are being deported, they're cheering America. They're cheering the American flag. While Trump is president, while Gavin Newsom is across the seas knocking American idea, just trying to berate American plans and berating the American president. And these black players are standing up for the flag, for the United States of America. They didn't show a picture of Colin Kaepernick. They didn't show up, and I said, damn it, maybe it's time for me to start watching football again. Something happened and nobody told me. America is back. It was beautiful, folks. And now I get a message from America's small caffeinated mom. You know the Hoosiers won, right? No, I don't. I don't know.
That's college.
I don't watch amateur sports. I don't even watch professional sports much anymore. Why is she sending me a note about amateur sports? They get paid now. It's what? They get paid now. They're still amateurs. I don't watch children's sports. Why don't we just go out and have the T-ball championship then? The touch football championship.
Football's a bit different.
Football's different. And I don't watch thug ball either. I used to like thug ball when I used to play back when it was called basketball when I was a kid.
That's outdated too.
That's outdated. I stopped that when they started showing up in guns in the locker room and the players beating up on the spectators and all this stuff. I'm like, nah, I guess I'm out of this one. But now football players are cheering America again. Black football players. I'm like, what the hell? When did this happen and why didn't anybody tell me? It's okay now. Black people are no longer oppressed in America. No, I didn't know the Hoosiers won. I don't even know who the Hoosiers are. I know that they come from somewhere out there in Rhonda country where there's like snow on the ground. There's going to be a big ice storm in America, by the way, this week. People are rushing to the stores trying to load up on stuff everywhere from Texas to whenever. It's like in the middle of the country. A lot of ice is coming. And not that kind of ice, the other ice. Although they could use some of that other rice in some of these places too, I'm telling you. I want them to go to Boston. Now, see, the whole first monologue I had planned on other stuff. And we're talking about football and sports and movies that I never see, don't know about, don't know who the actors. I am ashamed to say, and I shouldn't be. Most of the time movies come on and people will start talking about, this person was that, this, and these are famous actors and stuff, and I don't know who they are. I have no clue who they are. I don't watch the credits. I don't know who these actors and actresses are. I get them all mixed up with each other. Unless they were in the news talking about politics. See, Miss Rachel had to do an apology. She cried. Miss Rachel, we are familiar with Miss Rachel in our house. Because our little boy, he loves Miss Rachel. Miss Rachel's not anti, once everybody knows she's not anti. Do you know who Miss Rachel is, Carlos? See, I know something you don't know culturally. Miss Rachel, she sings happy songs to children. And she got herself in some trouble online, and now she had to apologize for it. She seems like a good girl. If you haven't seen her without the makeup, if you watch the apology, be prepared. She's not the same Miss Rachel that you've come to know and love. So anyway, Jack Smith testimony today. We have some of that. And Hank Johnson even had a comment. Do you know who Hank Johnson is, Carlos? Let's play Hank Johnson real quick. Jack Smith gets all these questions about all the stuff that he's done in this whole Get Trump thing. That's number 14. And then pops up Democrat Hank Johnson. And Hank Johnson had the audacity, had the nerve, had the bandwidth to ask Jack Smith this question this morning.
Those indictments have been dismissed. Can they be re-brought or resurrected after Trump leaves office?
They were dismissed without prejudice.
So they can be refiled? And he can be prosecuted after he leaves office. Is that correct?
I'm not going to speak to that. I can only speak to what we did, which was dismiss the case without prejudice.
All right.
Jack, listen, after Trump leave office, do you think that he could be recharged? Do you think that Trump, can we go after him again on the same crooked charges we did the first time? Could we do it again, Jack? Now, in case you don't know who Hank Johnson is, boy, you poor people know how. Hank Johnson, once at a congressional hearing, and I will never, ever, ever, ever forget this. Rush laughed himself silly over this, and we all did in the studio that day. The Navy, United States Navy, was planning to deploy additional personnel to one of our territories, Guam. In a congressional hearing on this deployment, well, it was armed services stuff, Hank Johnson proffered the notion, the question. He asked, if the nation of Guam, he feared, could capsize, it could tip over into the, I'm not making it up. You can search it on the internet. You can find the clip. You can play it. Hank Johnson asked if the nation of Guam would tip over into the ocean because additional U.S. troops, so many U.S. troops would go there. They were worried that so many of our troops could go to Guam, and the very nature of all those troops being on Guam might force the whole island to tip over and fall into the sea. That's Hank Johnson, who just asked this question. Can we, Jack, I know everybody, first team to go 16-0 since Yale in 1890. What? Who cares?
It's Indiana University.
It's who?
Indiana University.
Indiana University.
That's what she's
16-0. I'm being mean. I'm so proud of you. 16-0. College. Thank you. Great. Wonderful. We got to take a break.
The James Golden Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network. The James Golden Show, entertaining and informative on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
We found Hank Johnson earlier. Now, this guy wants the charges to be reintroduced after Trump leaves office. That's what he used his time with Jack Smith. Here he is earlier.
A lot of odd things happen in Planet Washington. I actually thought this was kind of an April Fool's joke when I saw it today, but it's not. It took place last week in a House Armed Services Committee hearing discussing a military buildup on the island of Guam. Here's Georgia Congressman Hank Johnson. Listen.
This is a island that at its widest level is 12 miles from shore to shore, and at its smallest level or smallest location, it's 7 miles between one shore and the other. Is that correct?
I don't have the exact dimensions, but to your point, sir, I think Guam is a small island.
Very small island, and about 24 miles, if I recall, long. So 24 miles long, about 7 miles wide at the least widest place on the island, and about 12 miles wide on the widest part of the island. And I don't know how many square miles that is. Do you happen to know?
I don't have that figure with me, sir. I can certainly supply it to you if you'd like.
Yeah, my fear is that the whole island will become so overly populated that it will tip over and...
The James Golden Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network. The James Golden Show, entertaining and informative on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
James Golden, Snerdley. Okay, I got a few things we got to hit. I had to do this quick because this is the fastest hour in American media. There is falling enrollment in one of the biggest school districts in America. It's LAUSD. For those of you that don't know what the acronym means, that's Los Angeles Unified School District. They're warning of layoffs and cuts. The Los Angeles Times covered it, and they're saying their budget is exacerbated by the ongoing Trump administration moves that threaten California school funding over culture war issues, including parental notification related to gender identity and also transgender athlete policies, blah, blah, blah. They also note that Newsom is going to hold $5.6 billion that would otherwise go to public schools and community colleges as a hedge against economic downturns. They say they're facing pressure from rising costs and promised employee raises. In fact, later in this article, they say that there's a bargaining team bargaining with the city. You know how many people are bargaining on their bargaining team from the teachers union out there? 150 people are on the bargaining team to get more money. 150 people. Nowhere in this entire article did they tell you why school enrollment is down. Let me just ask you, if I had to ask you, you know what? In Los Angeles, there has been a steady decrease in enrollment for kids in school. What would you suspect the answer might be? Why are there fewer kids in school in L.A. now than there were in years past? Why do you think what do you think the reason could be?
They're not there anymore.
They're not there anymore. Why aren't they there anymore?
They went on a vacation down south.
They went on a vacation down south, across the border to Mexico with ICE. And so nowhere in the entire article do they say The illegal immigrant population is leaving. We have problems here. It's just amazing what passes for journalism. Trump goes to war with America's top banker with staggering lawsuit. $5 billion lawsuit Trump against J.P. Morgan Chase for debanking him. This, Jamie Dimon's been to see Trump a few times, and this ought to be interesting. Heard about Speedway? Have you heard about Speedway gas stations? Aha. Speedway gas stations, they face a boycott. You know what they did out there in Minneapolis? I'm using Gavin Newsom's language. Minneapolis? Well, Border Patrol Commander Greg Bovino and other federal agents were denied service at a speedway in Minnesota. And people online are livid. They're calling for boycotts. Newsweek reached out to 7-Eleven. Why do you think Newsweek reached out to 7-Eleven? I'll tell you why. Because 7-Eleven owns Speedway. Oh, yeah, baby. And 7-Eleven did you not? I didn't know that. I never knew it till today. 7-Eleven, where Joe Biden said, never mind. 7-Eleven owns Speedway, and nobody seems to be commenting on this. The folks at Speedway were nasty to our federal agents. That's not getting a lot of traction on the mainstream news. Here's another story. Minnesota agitators stalk, pelt Border Patrol agents with food and spit at gas stations. When they stop for gas, people are harassing them, spitting on them, throwing food at them. And you wonder why tensions are going. Now, if somebody gets hurt, what are they going to do? They're going to blame ICE. Activists join a 1,000-person group chat. They're leaving home at 5 a.m. This is still in Minneapolis, according to Gavin Newsom. 1,000 people on a group chat to follow ICE around. They leave home at 5 in the morning to do it. And then, Speedway's involved in a legal case that I know about in Ohio. Might want to check with 7-Eleven. See whether they can speed up the works on that. Okay. Let's see. Washington Democrats. This is out of Washington State. New mayor came into Washington State. First thing she did, let all the drug users use drugs on the street, told the police to stand down, don't arrest them. Place is falling apart already. Now you have another one of their Democrat lawmakers out there who, if memory serves me right, has a felony, who served time for 3 felony convictions for possession of controlled substances and retail theft. And then she had her record expunged. But she is now calling for this Congresswoman, Representative Tara Simmons, has introduced a bill in Washington State that says, if you served in ICE, you won't be eligible for any state law enforcement jobs ever if you served in ICE, or if you have taken a job as an immigration and customs officer. So that's it. This woman that filed this measure had 3 felonies for retail theft, possession of dope, and yet she wants to ban ICE agents from being employed. There's that. The House has advanced the $1.2 package with ICE funding, despite the fact Democrats are still threatening they may do another government shutdown over ICE, just so you know. Yeah. But the House is passing next, so we might have another government shutdown because Democrats they want to defund ICE. It passed through the House. There. I love this story. Here it is. New news. The Trump administration is preparing to deport Mahmoud Khalil. This is the activist there. You know where they want to send him? They want to send him to Algeria. Now, I said the French should be very happy with that. Why would I say that? I'm getting blank stares. Well, what? Speak up, Carlos. We can't hear you.
They have a lot of people in Algeria, don't they?
They don't just have a lot of people. The old Frenchies, the ones that are complaining to Trump, that Macron. No, Donald. No, Donald. No, Donald. Donald, please, Donald, no. We're not going to pay more for prescription drugs. But you won't get no more champagne. So we won't send you no more champagne, Donald. No. Donald, yes, we'll do it, Donald. The French are the colonial rulers of Algeria, and they mistreated the local. You talk about racist. Look into the history of Algeria under French colonial, the racist rule of the French in Algeria. You want a history lesson? See, I told you, Carlos, I don't know anything about the damn Oscars, but you talk to me about world history. You talk to me about colonial history. You talk to me, we can have that discussion.
No, the French, they went all over Africa. If you see, their national teams, nobody's really French.
Subjugated black people from here. Why do you still think they speak that dialect that they speak down there in Haiti? Got news for you. Here's something else that's not getting a lot of attention. Folks, we have 15 or 16 sound bites I'm not going to get to today. They're going to all we're going to get to tomorrow. Jack Smith, these activists, all this other stuff. Because I'm just on a roll and I can't stop. The United States of America's murder rate has plunged to the lowest level in how long? I'm going to open up for guesses. How long do you think? What do you think? 5 years, 10 years? What do you think the murder at the lowest level since how long, Carlos? Just give me a guess off the top of your head. How long?
2012, 2013.
Since 2013. TJ, just a guess off the top of your head. The murder is the lowest rate since when?
2000.
Since the year 2000. I say to both of you, Beulah the buzzer says, you're wrong. The U.S. murder rate has plunged to the lowest level in 100 years. Since who took over? Since there have been mass what? What has happened? The U.S. murder rate in 2025 plunged to its lowest level in over a century. The average reported homicide rate declined 21% in 35 major U.S. cities in 2025, marking the largest one-year drop of all time and likely the lowest level since 1900. Who is not getting the credit for this? And why? And why isn't this story much bigger news? All right, we did the Don Lemon thing. We did that. Oh, by the way, it took less than a day. And just like that, all of the hysteria over Greenland has disappeared from the news. All the hysteria is gone. Just like that. Now today we get, after Trump's ultimatum, Greenland talks include sovereign U.S. bases and no drilling for Russia. That was from the New York Times. Just like that. It's all gone. And then you have Gavin Newsom. Gavin Newsom's whining. Maybe we can have time to play the soundbite from that. Let's see. Gavin Newsom. Yes. Cut 4. Here you go, Gavin Newsom.
I was going to speak last night. It was a well-established event at the USA House. Simple conversation, discussion. After Trump's speech, they made sure that I didn't. They made sure it was canceled. And that's what's happening in the United States of America. Freedom of expression, freedom of assembly, freedom of speech. It's America in reverse. They're censoring historical facts. They're rewriting history.
Yeah, Gavin Newsom. I was going to speak after Trump spoke. First of all, he went over there, chastised the European leaders, told them they need to wear knee pads. He insulted them. And then he says he was supposed to speak at the USA House. Well, Gavin, you could have went to the Iran House to speak. You could have went to the China House to speak or the Russia House to speak. Why didn't you do that? Now, Stephen A. Smith, broadcaster, fellow broadcaster, but sports guy, had something to say about Newsom cut 6, and then we got to go to a break. No, we don't have time. We got to go to the break now.
The James Golden Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network. The James Golden Show, entertaining and informative on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Our beloved program director, and I mean that, Kevin Drosh, is back from his honeymoon. Congratulations. He just told me one of the most amazing stories. Kevin, just tell him what you just told me.
So while you were playing Cupid on the air, I leaned over to Doug Desher, who's one of our producers here, and I said, hey, what famous rock star heard this song in the car with his mom when he was a kid, and that made him decide to become a singer? And before I could get the words out of my mouth, you said Steve Perry. And I said, no way. We both just made that connection, but you were just saying that he sounds like Sam Cooke. And now you can see where that came from, the inspiration. It's really amazing. The coincidence.
I had no idea. Kevin, thank you for that. Was so magical when you told me. It blew my mind.
We're going to go play the lotto tonight, James, I think.
Okay.
It's quite a coincidence.
Man, oh man. I've said this for years. Every time I heard Steve Perry sing this, I said he sounds so much like Sam Cooke. Anyway, we gotta go, my friends. Thank you, Kevin. We love you, Kevin. Welcome back. May God bless, protect each and every single one of you, your families, your loved ones. And love and gratitude, my friends, always, for your being here with me and allowing me to be with you. God willing. We're back tomorrow for the Friday edition of Bo Snerdley's Rush Hour, the fastest hour in American media. I'm just loving Steve Perry. Happy birthday, Steve Perry. Happy heavenly birthday to Sam Cooke. Until tomorrow, my friends, I bid you adieu.
Thanks for listening to The James Golden Show. You can hear The James Golden Show Saturday mornings at 7. If you like the podcast, share it with your friends and listen anytime at WABCRadio.com and download the WABC Radio app. Hit that subscribe button on all major podcast platforms. Plus, follow WABC on social on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and X. See you next time for a new episode so you never have to wonder,
what the heck is going on here?
Rural Americans deserve access to the best of what our country has to offer, especially health care. Across every state, every community, America's rural hospitals are the first line of defense, protecting our families, neighbors, and loved ones. No matter where you live, hospital care doesn't clock out. They're there 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. Each year, America's over 5,000 hospitals care for millions of patients, providing 24/7 emergency care, delivering babies, cancer treatments, and other life-saving care that patients rely on. Behind every one of those patients are doctors, nurses, and caregivers working tirelessly to keep people healthy and safe. Hospitals are our community's lifelines. They employ our neighbors and keep our families healthy. But now, some in Congress are threatening access to care. Tell Congress, protect patient care to keep America strong. Don't cut rural health care.